All right, let's go. How are you doing, everybody? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We're just going to do a little bit of analysis, just looking at the charts, nothing too fancy. Basically just hanging out and, yapping my trap a little bit. So, let's get into it real quick. Quote of the day: I just don't want to die without a few scars. Chuck Palahniuk, very good author. I'm sure you've probably heard of his work, even if you haven't heard of him. Wrote Fight Club and a number of other good things. I kind of like what I did with this picture with the market cipher on the back right there. That came out kind of nice. I may have to do a little something else with that sometime. But all right, here we are looking at the chart, and I'm on the Vechain chart because it had a fairly nice day. A little 9% going on there. Pop over to CoinMarketCap, see what out of, I think it picks this out of like the top 100 or the top 50 or something like that. Just basically refresh, main, sort by 24-hour, near protocol up there with about almost 14 Ethereum Classic. I noticed this one earlier today was doing pretty well. Hadn't looked at it since. It was about midday-ish. Vechain, nice to see it's doing a little better. Still in that 7-cent range. So it's it's about the average purchase price that I have at the moment, but I've made quite a bit trading off of it. So pretty much at this point, it's almost impossible for me to like come back to zero. Waves, not doing what it was doing a little while back, but it's picking back up, maybe rounding this bottom a little bit here. We shall see. Pancake swap, love me some pancakes. Thorchain again. A lot of repeat customers on this list right here. Seems like these are the main bunch that's been pretty strong lately, at least over the last month, maybe more. Avalanche, solid. Hederic, pops up on the list from time to time. Solana, pretty steadily up there. Algorand, pretty steadily up there. Sandbox maybe coming back up a little bit. We shall see. I mean, generally everything's got this slight, upward sideways trajectory, but some are doing better than others. Mana coming back. Monero still holding strong. Nice to see that. Cardano, not quite as sideways as some of these other ones. It's a little bit, or it was up in the beginning. Now it's still kind of going sideways. But enough of that. Let's check out the chart. So might as well start from the top. Bitcoin, you can see it, had this a little bit of a upward move after we were getting all of these various bullish divergences. But the RSIs were splitting pretty quick. I mean, as soon as we had that first little jump up, at that point, we were already split. And granted, it did culminate into this last little I hesitate to call it parabolic, but this more vertically inclined move, and since then it's just been sideways. We did get a higher low over here, so that's something, but this is the 12-minute. Let's jump out to the 6-hour. Let's zoom out a little bit. And if you do recall, when we drew this support resistance level right here, man, we got close. We got close, and it might not be done going to the downside just yet. I think I remember making a video back when we were up here, and then again when we were about right there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm feeling like it's still got some more to go, and I still kind of feel that way, to be honest. I mean, money flow still coming down, although, we had this little sideways action there for a little bit, but it eventually capitulated. Now, these were splitting, not terribly. Sometimes you'll get like an RSI where one of them stays up in the 50-60 range. Not quite doing that this time. It's still pretty clearly defined, downward angle. But even as it's going sideways, it's staying split. Basically, it's just weak. It's as simple as that. It's just weak. It's not really going up, not really going down. It's just sideways. Even as the VWAP crossed up, practically flatlined. You can see that it's already going sideways, so not a great sign. I mean, not to say that it can't, start to head up. It can do whatever the heck it wants, but the main thing I'm just trying to say is it's super weak at the moment. And then say we came down to, let's do the hourly, because there's not going to be a lot to look at on this one. Money flow, seemed like we were starting to head back up. Again, went sideways. A little bit of split in the RSIs, but it's not increasing or decreasing. So again, just weak sauce. Don't got no spice to it whatsoever. 30-minute. I was curious to see at this point, when this was happening, I was watching to see if this was going to act like a trigger wave. I was quite skeptical because even going into it, it did seem like maybe these RSIs were pulling back together a little bit. But then we had this ridiculously big split on the way up. I did not do jack all day. Checked on it once in a while, but for the most part, I did not do anything. Even this, once I saw how weak, that rebound, that reversal was, and that this was still kind of hanging out down here. So I was like, okay, even though we were pretty deep in the red money flow, it's not to say that it couldn't go up a little bit better as it's making its way back up. But yeah, it wasn't doing that. RSIs were still staying low. And the fact that we came up a little bit and we were just sideways, and then up a little tiny bit sideways, and then I was like, nah, it's got no gas in the tank, so wasn't messing with that. Ethereum, basically the same thing, didn't get quite, the little wick down that Bitcoin had, and it did have this pullback, which was bigger size for sure. A little bit deeper on the momentum wave. But again, it wasn't really given a good trigger wave action, but we are still going a little bit more to the upside than Bitcoin was. So it's not quite as sideways, and it's staying in a tighter range as well. These RSIs are trending upward. Momentum waves trending upward. Money flow coming up a little bit. So if anything, I'd say Ethereum is looking a little bit better than Bitcoin at the moment. But look at that. I mean, we have been hitting right on those support levels. Pretty snazzy, if I do say so myself. I haven't moved this Gann square yet. I almost did, but then when we started coming back into it, I'm like, I'm going to leave it. Let's see. If anything, maybe I'll unhide. I bet you there's a fan line cutting right across the top of this. Oh yeah, but I got it locked, so I can't click it right now. It seems like every time I unhide one of them damn fan lines, it just sends the square off into no man's land. But all right, Ethereum Classic. Look at that. Look at that. Potentially still going up. Money flow pulled back a little bit, but started going sideways. So it could just be, a low along the curvature. We shall see. Especially with the, Bitcoin and Ethereum being boring. And this tends to happen too, because you got the Bitcoin conference going on right now. And I don't remember exactly what it did last year, but I do remember that it was disappointing. I want to say, I think it spent some of the conference going sideways, and then before or after, or during, I forget, at some point, and then it started pulling back down. And I remember everybody being salty because everybody was like online talking about, oh, the conference is coming up, Bitcoin Miami, oh, it's going to be pumping. And no, it didn't. But, RSI's over here, we were getting weak as it came up, but we came together. Come together. We are getting bearish divergence on the momentum waves. Nothing I'm really going to call out on the VWAP. But, yep, do have that momentum wave bearish divergence. So we'll see what happens there, but it is kind of clipping a little bit. There's a strong chance that we get another one of these guys, or it just does like a just zigzag as it continues until the next wave. And who knows, maybe it'll be something like that. Kind of depends on the money flow. Let's see Ripple. What's Ripple doing? Pretty much the same as, well, a little bit better than Ethereum. Kind of a subdued version of Ethereum Classic. It just didn't have as big a pump right there. Jump back to the hourly here. You know, money flow coming up. RSI is going up. Momentum wave still going up. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Let's check out Luna. And I may zoom out a little bit further, but I just want to run through a bunch of them on the hourly, just so we see what's going on at the moment. You know, it's kind of a good time frame. Some people are going to watch this a little bit later. And, you know, what we're seeing on the 1 hour now can still apply for, you know, a little while. Now, money flow coming down. Momentum wave still coming down. Although we did have some bullish divergence right there. Just a wee little guy, but I've kind of seen that play out right now. 2023, 24. Decent increasing strength. Starting to split a tiny bit, but nothing really worth changing your decision over. You know, over here we did have that bullish divergence on the VWAP. Matter of fact, if you take it all the way back to there, had it throughout the whole dip, which is nice. I like seeing these, you know, these 3-wave divergences on the VWAP. It's almost, you know, I'm curious. I'm going to keep paying attention to this because this is an aspect that I really haven't thought about too hard beyond the fact that, you know, I mentioned it like in 1 or 2 other videos, but I want to start paying attention to, you know, these little 3-wave higher low VWAPs when it gives us a nice bullish divergence, and see if this is an emerging pattern that we will continue to see, you know, where we got, you know, one leg here, shorter leg here, even shorter leg here, reversal. Yeah, maybe. Again, you know, 1 leg, 2 leg, 3 leg. It could be something to it. And keep in mind, with things like that, it seems like, you know, I don't think it's hard to even pin down a time frame, but call it like every season in the charts, you start to see these patterns emerge. So maybe it's, you know, for the last year, we've been seeing, you know, such and such, whether it be like maybe it's, oh, you know, 4 impulse waves in reverse, or, you know, 3 legs decreasing in length and then reverse. But what happens is you will see these patterns, you know, constantly repeating, and even on, like, you know, on different scales. So like you might see it in a micro scale, and then you might see it in a macro scale. But I think that's a pattern that I want to investigate a little bit further. It's like we almost had it here. We did have it on the VWAP, except we had already reversed on the second one. Oh, crap. Not another good example on this time frame, but so that's what's going on with Luna. So we'll see. Potentially reversing. Depends. If we can hold like maybe some 17s, 16s, it could keep it going. But you know, we would have to see that money flow start coming back up. And hopefully these RSIs not doing one of these. Let's see Polkadot. What's Polkadot doing? Pretty much like Ethereum. You know, a little bit of an upward channel, but nothing worth writing home about. You know, some more split on that RSI like we were just talking about. If you skip that one, we kind of had the 3-wave divergence going on right there. Then had a little bullish divergence on the momentum waves as well. We'll see what's going on. If this keeps coming up a little bit, you know, VWAP trending up a little bit, we'll see what happens. Could have a little bit more upside to it. Let's see, Cardano, about the same. Solana, definitely a little better. Never really came too bad into the red money flow. Ah, crap. All right. You know, we did have a longer downtrend, whereas the other ones kind of started right here. This one kind of had like a first section prior to it, but generally the same shape. Obviously, that was looking quite nice ahead of that. RSI is getting a little split too. I mean, everything's showing some sign of weakness at the moment. Vechain, aside from a little bit deeper into the money flow, almost indistinguishable from Solana. Just had an interesting little pump over here on Vechain Thor or VThor. I hate saying that. It sounds stupid. Rune, you know, was looking a little decent, but not looking so hot at the moment. Much bigger RSI spread. You know, money flow looking quite bad. This would have been a beautiful short, though. Good gosh, look at that, 23% on the back of a 17, on the back of a 14. Now this is interesting. You got 3 sections, but they are increasing in size and length. Interesting. You know, did have divergence at the bottom of this one. Only on the VWAP on this one, not on the momentum waves, although we did have, look at this. You know, we had this guy, and then that guy. You know, we had some fake out divergence fake out. I say that, but you know, in reality, money flow was still generally trending down, even though we had this little bump there that pretty much would have acted like a fake out. Even had this slightly bigger candle right there. Yeah, that might have got some people going, just to shatter their hopes and dreams. Let's see, Phantom, not looking so hot. Audio, even more sideways. Cartesi about the same. Shib, yeah. What's this we got? Getting a little candle on Doge over here. Got Avalanche. Avalanche looking a little bit better. And a nice little pump right there. Yeah. RSI splitting a little higher than everybody else. You know, VWAP kind of bouncing off the zero line. Money flow still increasing. Looks like we had a double bottom right here. That's interesting. So technically it was a gigantic divergence, which played out. So that's interesting. Yeah, Ave got a little bit more movement to those swings, but generally the same for most everything. You know, Pancake kind of getting another leg going right now. Elrond. Algorand, meh. Then you got this guy. Look at that. Near's just killing it. Definitely been, you know, a lot of money going into Near. And it's actually been a fairly nice one for scalping. Look at this, 17%, 9%, 15, 16%, 20% at the moment. Yeah, I like it when these VWAPs, you know, when you're just pumping, just dragging out rather than coming back to the zero. So we'll see if it can keep up some strength right now. You know, it could get a bounce off of there, but we shall see. It's starting to get some numbers on the top side, but it's looking like it doesn't care. Matter of fact, it basically depends what happens with this candle. You know, if this candle can't get above that, then we're probably putting in lower highs, but this guy can get some pump going. I mean, the money flow's still coming up. Oops. Yeah, no divergence yet. And then Anchor had a decent little day as well. Yeah, obviously, this chart looks significantly different from everybody else. We just had that nice little curve to the upside, pulled back about golden pocket length. I bet you if we checked it. Let's see, even if we went from here. Okay, go to the actual bottom. Nope. See just this leg. Yeah, pretty close. Pretty close. Let's see, we might run out of gas right here, though. Depends. I mean, money flow's coming up, but it does look like it's got a little resistance, a little sideways action going on. VWAP starting to head down. About the same thing as Near. You know, if this candle can push up and keep going above, it could keep on cruising. What's up with this? Orion Protocol. Damn, put in a 30%. Now, obviously, this one's definitely a little shitcoiny, but you know, if you could find some liquidity, like if you're on Binance or something, you could work it out. But that is generally what's going on at the moment. Damn, 25 minutes already. So, not going to get into anything too special. You know, zooming out a little bit here. You know, you can see what we have approaching, what's coming up. You know, we got this big support resistance level, then we got the spider line, then we got this little trend line. So we definitely have a pretty solid support area coming up. You know, over here on the daily money flow, still coming down. RSI is coming down, starting to split a little bit. You know, and if this does continue down and, you know, we start seeing a little split, see it turn sideways, you know, high likelihood that would be the bottom. Yeah, DBSI, just not great. I mean, in the sense of, you know, continuing 14, 17, and then 9, we can see, you know, came down and then have a little bit of a pullback. But it seems a little preemptive to say that we're going to reverse from here. Not to say we can't, but it's a little early to go making that call. The hell's that line? Oh, damn, it left that open. Yeah, it's just, you know, we're in a very low money flow zone where, you know, it can be low, like it can be in this area and still have, you know, pumps and dumps. But when you're going sideways in this area, particularly on a higher time frame, it's just the enthusiasm is not there. Oh, but I did want to check one thing. The bull market support band. And as you can see, whoops. Let me hide this a little bit. As you can see, the band looks like it's about to have a flip, which is a bullish sign. You can see that last time we flipped was over here. Son of a bitch. Or you could call it a, you know, a crossover or a cross. And we went up above, came back, retested again, and continued up. Now we're not quite, you know, blowing past it like we did this time. And we kind of got to it, came above. Now we're kind of hovering right at that intersection point. So I am not too sure what to make of that one. Although it's still early, obviously we've got some time left in that candle. About 3 days left. Almost a little reminiscent of this guy here. So unless we get some bullish pressure, yeah. Unless we get some bullish pressure, you know, it could be looking like any of these where we got right up to the band, started getting a little flaky. We'll see. I mean, if this does bounce and continue down, we could have like a double cross happening in there. I don't even think we have one of those, do we? It's a double cross. We got a couple over here, but there's some distance in between them. that did happen, it would definitely be bearish. That's for sure. Just out of curiosity here. Let's see what what's Ethereum's band looking like? Got a little bit more of a spread. Getting close though, getting close. But yeah, so that's the bull market support band. As you can see, we're pretty much playing around right there on top of the band. What's oil doing? 96, really? That's nice. So yeah, got a lower high right there on the oil. Money flow coming back down. Although we're getting some RSI split a little bit. And VWAP generally kind of trending upward. You know, not quite divergent, but possibly at a support level, maybe get a little bit of sideways action, maybe come into a pattern. Be nice if it breaks down, because I know I am tired of paying these gas prices, even though it's not terrible here, but I don't know. With everything going on, it's probably more likely to go up. What we got with the S&P. Honestly, kind of looking as shitty as crypto's looking at the moment. Yeah, some sideways money flow. Strengthening to the downside a little bit. Got silver looking just like oil. Gold looking even worse, going sideways. Potentially coming back up, but and NASDAQ looking like it might dip further. Dow Jones. Man, keep in mind, this is a daily chart. And this is super weak money flow. Is everybody broke right now? Jeez. Oh, I guess we can adjust this. Hey, so Biden's finally up 10% again. This is kind of interesting. I'll show you guys. If you're still watching right now, I went through, you know, on the Dow here and created these sections for each administration that we've had going back, you know, Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton. Yeah, that's as far back as I went. And it's interesting, look at the percentages. Clinton was up 70%, but it had been steadily pumping prior to that. Then we get Bush, we get, you know, 9/11, Iraq and Afghanistan, all that happy horse shit. And from, you know, inauguration to inauguration was only up 20%. I don't know what I just did. Okay. And then we've got Obama. And again, you know, inauguration to inauguration, 28%. And it seems like more because he had this gigantic, you know, the 07, 08, 09 crash. And if you were to go from like the bottom of that to the end, 152%, but you really can't brag about 150% when you're talking about, you know, coming off the back of a crash. So, I mean, obviously it was going to rebound. And then you had the, you know, the Trump years right there. 95. So, you know, holding the record of start to finish. And then you got Sleepy, who finally came back into double digits. But it's looking very much like Bitcoin, starting to curl over. So we shall see. You know, what do you think? Think it's going to break this trend line? I mean, honestly, at this point, something kind of has to happen. I mean, let's keep it real here. I mean, the housing market is kind of getting out of hand. Look at this, man. We had just a jagged knife dip right there over on Hang Seng. Although China's just been just super struggling between their dumbass zero COVID policy, the dynamic zero. I can't say that word. I'm going to get that ridiculous little further information thing below the video. But let's see, what was that down? Just call it from up here. Took a 39% dip. Even got some blood diamonds on there. I'd say those played out pretty damn well. Did have a bit of a rebound, and it's staying fairly strong. And we did have a bunch of bullish divergence, but that money flow is still pretty ugly. Still pretty ugly. And not only that, they got their real estate market looking like it potentially could crash. And then you got them manipulating their currency. And then they locked down Shanghai. And if you see the map of all the ships off the coast, it's crazy looking. Crazy. Yeah, about the same. That's their China's index right there. Yeah, I really don't, you know, it looks like it's maybe cooling off a little bit, but fundamentally, I'm having a hard time believing that it's going to do all that much better. We got about the same. Just generally been going up kind of nice. It's Frontier. EWT. Ooh, look at that. EWT with a 17% move. Spiking back quite nicely. Reef not doing too terrible. Had a nice little run up prior to it. We got Ocean. We shall see. Money flow's not looking terrible. Alchemix. Oof. Ugly. Chilies. About the same. Oh, that's the wrong exchange. I gotta take that off there. Synthetics, about the same. Kusama. Not terrible. Kusama was pretty much pumping for a little while there. Nice little 75er. Rune, we got that on the other list. Meh, not terrible. Blue Zell, what you doing? Okay, yeah, had a nice little 80% going into that. All right, why is Luna on this list? Why doesn't the BitTorrent chart work? Yeah, we already got all that. Let's see, Bitcoin futures. Where did we leave off? It's starting to come up a little bit, but kind of flatlining everywhere. It's not too great. Volatility taking a dump as things go sideways. Where I thought I had Bitcoin dominance. I thought I had like a Bitcoin volume one, but oh well. All right, I'm cutting it. I rambled on long enough. Probably not even watching at this point because it's probably pretty boring. But love you guys. Thank you. Oh, hit like 200 subs the other day. Very much appreciated. That's awesome. Yeah. If there's something you got on your mind, something you want to see, by all means, hit me in the comments. We shall take a look. Later.